I have mine. You don't have yours.
The story of my life.
I know. What are you going to do? All right. Hey, did you know Americans stop or prevent a violent crime 1 to 3 million times per year with a gun? You don't hear that on the news. That's right. Studies from Florida State, the CDC, and the Crime Prevention Research Center show that guns are used to protect life 25 times more than when they are used to take a life. 25 times. And the estimate is really on the low end. And if you believe that good people deserve the best tools to defend themselves and the families, then you should be a member of San Diego County Gun Owners. San Diego County Gun Owners makes it easy to connect with the community that's fighting to defend and restore your Second Amendment rights. Become a member today. It's only $10. You can't buy breakfast for $10. Go to sdcgo.org/join. Become a member today. Okay, so you don't watch the news.
No, not really.
So I have to say,
I'm on the news.
I know you're always on the news, but I have to tell you about your uncle.
My uncle?
Yeah, Gavin.
Oh, yeah.
So Gavin, you know how he says if what's his face from Florida,
Ron DeSantis,
comes to California,
he's
going to arrest him for kidnapping. Because he sent 15 illegals to Sacramento.
Oh,
so an interviewer, says, "So I understand DeSantis is coming to, campaign in California." He says, "Do you plan to arrest him when he comes into the state?" And he goes, "What? What are you talking about? That's hyperbole. That makes no sense." He goes, "No, that's what you said. You said because he's."
Oh, jeez.
He just went totally off the rails.
Well, I got to talk about my uncle. How did he become my uncle?
Well, because
we both have great hair.
You both got a debonair.
We're both debonair. It's exactly. I get described. Everybody's always telling me that.
I know. I mean, the way you sashay.
Debonair I am.
Yeah.
Sashay. It's getting worse and worse. So yeah, I talked about him, and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. But we talked about Gavin Newsom proposing a constitutional amendment. He wants a constitutional convention. Because nothing makes you sound nuttier than I need a constitutional convention. We talked about it on KUSI, talked about it on a couple other news sources.
Oh, is that what you came in for Saturday?
Yeah, yep. Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so there's something kind of interesting. Like I said, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in the show, but he had 4 very specific proposals. He wanted to ban guns from people, adults that are 18, 19, and 20. He wanted everybody to go through a wait period. He wants everybody to go through a background check regardless.
Don't we do all that?
And then, California does all that, and we're suing on most of it. And then the other one was he wants to ban semi-automatic rifles, which he calls assault rifles. So those are the 4 specific ones that people are really focused on. Mm-hmm. But there's kind of this 5th vague thing that he said at the very end where he said he wanted the amendment to allow states to pass common sense gun laws. Now, it's kind of it was kind of interesting. Does he mean that those 4 things are common sense gun laws? Because if those are being passed by the constitutional amendment, then they won't need states to pass that. So it can't refer to that, and no one's paying attention to that. So it's really 5 proposals. And they're doing that thing that politicians do all the time. They concentrate on the, look over here. Look at how good this is. Yeah. And then there's this dark, and we want, states and municipalities to pass common sense gun law, which means anything that, states and municipalities want to do to violate the Second Amendment, they just have to use the term common sense, and boom, they can do that.
Oh, another buzzword.
Well, who knows, right? Who knows? The devil's in the details, but not a lot of people are talking about that. So I brought that up on KUSI and a couple other news sources to talk more about that. So anyway, we have Chris in the studio from 511, right?
Yes, sir.
How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me in.
You bet. We're going to talk to you in the next couple segments. And really,
what do you do at 511?
I'm the director of wholesale marketing.
Well, let me tell you what. I got more frickin' 511 gear than you do.
Thank you.
I've got shoes. I've got pants. I've got shirts. And I've got I have 5 different just kind of jackets, lightweight jackets.
Sure.
But my wife is not happy with you because you don't sell enough women's 511 gear.
We're working on it.
I'm just going to tell her because she's listening. You know the shirts that have got the perforation?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best shirt on the planet in the summer.
Absolutely.
But there wasn't any for women.
Yeah, we're working on a couple different options too, and not only just lifestyle gear or wear, but also fitness wear. So
Yeah.
we're going to be seeing some different styles of apparel for both men's and women's on that side, and really looking at exploring that women's segment as well.
And congratulations opening the store in El Cajon.
Yes, thank you very much.
I drive by it every Friday. I try not to go in.
Chris, look at Dave's watch, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Dave's what?
5'11", right? So he's
perfect.
telling the
Hey.
truth.
And I had
No
you had some really cool sunglasses. They were.
We did eyewear for a little while,
You
absolutely.
don't make them anymore.
I know, I know.
Somebody stole mine.
No, he'll tell you. Shoes.
He comes in here all 5'11" out.
Yeah.
You know.
If I go, I do. They're just. I mean, other than these, and I only put these on because I was working in the yard before I got here, and I don't wear 5'11", but I don't wear anything unless it's 5'11".
Awesome.
Because it fits.
Here, I'll tell you. Here's the best. Then we'll go to break. I'll tell you the story, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll really get into the interview here. But the best 5'11" store, the most entertaining time you can have going to a 5'11" store, go to the one in Mission Valley.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but here's the reason. The one in Mission Valley shares a doorway, or is basically a little area. There's two doors right in the same as a pot dispensary. Now we all know.
Well.
Now we all know 5'11", mostly, cops, law enforcement, former military, gun folks, that kind of person.
Sure.
Probably not the exact same type of person that goes to the pot dispensary. So here's what you do. Go to 5'11" in Mission Valley, okay? Go in, buy some shirts or whatever.
Shoes,
First
whatever,
aid
bags.
kits. They got all kinds of cool stuff. Knives. Buy some 5'11" stuff. Shoes, whatever. But then on a Saturday night, grab yourself something to eat, sit in your car for the next couple hours, and then play this game. Watch people walking up and then guess which door they're going to take. And, occasionally.
Door one or door two? Yeah.
Door one or door
There
two.
we go. Okay.
Occasionally it gets real interesting. You're like, there's no way
There's
that
no-
person's going to 5'11". Oh, no, they're going, yeah. And then you'll get like some college kids and
Okay, so-
they're definitely going to the
So
pot
we're
shop.
saying if anybody goes on a date with you,
Yeah, that's what we're
this
doing.
very easily could be your entertainment for the evening.
There you go. So email the show. Anybody that sounds like an exciting time. I'm gonna get like
I could just see it.
I'm gonna get
A bag of McDonald's cheeseburgers, and we're gonna go watch the Doors at 5'11".
I'm gonna get like 30 email offers, and it's gonna be from like Edward Sanchez and Rick Cohen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, guys,
No, that's not the date we're looking for.
it's not the date we're looking for. This is not the date you're looking for.
That is awesome.
So, hi, Alicia.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing well.
No.
Chris from 5'11". We were just talking about 5'11".
Chris.
He's our guest today. We're going to
Do
interview
you have any
him after.
5'11" gear?
I have a lot.
Well, he's going to start making more women's stuff, so be ready.
I like it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, anyway, it was, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about Gavin Newsom. We're going to talk to Chris. We're going to interview Tasha Williamson. She's coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. She's done a lot to feed San Diego County gun owners, folks that never even considered purchasing a gun before. We're going to talk about her past. She's fairly well known in some circles. She's a big activist.
You're going to talk about your shiny thing?
My shiny thing.
Right there.
Oh, well, that's from Chris.
You got
We will talk about it.
You
yes.
got a shiny thing?
I got a shiny thing.
You deserve a shiny thing.
I could use a shiny thing.
I know.
what
You got to
mean?
make a necklace out of it. It'll go with your outfit.
There you go.
All right. Hey, if you own a gun in California, you should have an attorney that specializes in California gun laws. On your speed dial, that is. Because if you ever have legal matters that involve firearms, you need California firearm lawyer John Dillon. Especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant. Our trusted firearms attorney is John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Put his number on your phone right now, 760-642-7150. That's John Dillon's California firearms lawyer, 760-642-7150.
John is the undisputed best in California, if not the nation.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Lovely guy. So our next guest, I'm really excited about. I've known him for a few years and respected him just as long because he's a fantastic warrior when it comes to the Second Amendment. I'm sure most of our listeners have heard him or seen him, but not for the reason we have him on the air, which is why we wanted to have him come in and call in and talk to him about exactly what he's doing. Mr. Craig Deluz, how are you, sir?
I am too blessed to be stressed, sir. How are you doing?
Good, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
He used to, so
The first time you have to give me credit. After that, it's all yours.
So he used to do a YouTube show about Second Amendment called Coffee with Craig, and then they went and at SHOT Show did a night show where he would interview people, and he called it it couldn't be Coffee with Craig because it was at night, right? So it was Booze with Deluz, which was awesome. I always really liked that.
Oh,
Craig.
you know what? It was a lot of fun, but you could tell as the night went on, the interviews got a little bit hairier. And I would just sit there, and every time my glass got empty, there was another drink put there.
Like magic. So, my friend, what are you doing now? Let's tell everybody why you're on the show today and what you're up to.
Well, I will tell you, I've been politically active for 30 years. Mostly as a volunteer. I've worked in the California State Legislature for a number of really good conservative members. And I got to be honest, I've been looking at the way things have been going lately. And I decided, in particular, looking at the way things have been going at the federal level, and I decided, you know what? It's time for me to finally throw my hat in the ring and run for U.S. Congress.
Congratulations. I think that's a fantastic idea. Now, what's talk about which district are you running in?
So it is the 6th Congressional District, which is located in the northeastern suburban part of Sacramento County. So it's actually in Northern California. The seat is newly formed. The current member that's in it is a gentleman named Ami Bera, clearly anti-Second Amendment, let's talk about what he's for. He's for big government. He's for confiscating your firearms and taking away your Second Amendment right. He's for more taxes. He's for socialized medicine. So for all of those reasons, I think he is wholly unqualified to be a representative of the federal government's lower house.
Now, I think a lot of people would hear that and go, well, he's from Sacramento, of course. But they're confusing, what comes out of Sacramento with who lives in the Sacramento area. Just because all these horrible decisions are made in Sacramento, those folks show up, mess up the state, and then they fly back to their district. They don't actually vote in Sacramento. So how did he get elected? Because Sacramento and the surrounding area is not exactly that doesn't sound representative. Am I wrong?
Oh no, you're not wrong. When he ran, so what happened was he was representing a different district, and when they redrew the lines because of the census, he was actually drawn into the same district as two other liberal Democrats. And so he actually had to run in a different district. And, in California, you may not know this, you don't actually have to live in the district that you are running or seeking to represent. You just have to live in the state. So he ran for a district that was as close by as he could get without necessarily having to move. And he ran, quite frankly, he tried to run as a moderate Democrat, someone who didn't stick out. If you notice, you probably don't hear his name much in the news. He's not out there lambasting Republicans, talking about ultra MAGA this and ultra MAGA that. He's just kind of quietly voting for socialism, quietly voting to take away our Second Amendment right, quietly voting to expand the size and scope and control of the federal government.
That's interesting. So the important point behind all that is there's a real chance to replace this incumbent.
It is and by the way, you might want to know this. So California actually played a significant role in us actually taking back the House. There were a number of seats that we both held in Congress as well as won that are in fact the difference that makes the Republicans the majority in the House of Representatives. This seat, it's basically what's called a D+7, meaning it's a Democrat-leaning seat by about 7 points. It is the closest or one of the closest seats that's actually not currently held by a Republican. So with the right candidate, with the right message, and with the right resources, This is a race where California can actually add, Republicans can actually add another seat in the House of Representatives.
And additionally, what you were talking about, it sounds like even though it is a D+7, which by the way is practically statistically that's practically a tie. That's D+7 is almost a tie. I mean, it's obviously they have a few more, but you start getting down into the weeds. That district may actually favor Republican voters, depending on how the not declareds usually break. But that's somebody that the district didn't pick. That's somebody who picked the district, which is an added benefit. So it's not like this is a Democrat who even fits that D+7 district. So I mean, this is very, very big.
Oh no! In community event after community event that he shows up to, he just does not seem comfortable in his own skin. And that's because he's lying about who he is he lied about who he was to get in office, and he's lying about who he is to stay in office. And Mike, if there's one thing that you know about me is I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell you exactly who I am, exactly what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it. And because I figure if I got to lie about who I am to get in office, then I got to lie about who I am to stay in office.
No, you're solid as a rock, and that's one of the many things I've always appreciated and respected about you. I think that your character and your backbone and is probably only second to your good looks when it comes to all your qualities. So, but it's a close second, man. I got to tell you, it's a close second. So, talk about how much do you think the Second Amendment and your advocacy will play a part in your race?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I know that in the primary, it's going to play a major role in terms of my support. Much of the district are very avid supporters of the Second Amendment. We have a very strong statewide group here, California gun owners. We have very strong local organizations that support the Second Amendment. So I think it's going to play a significant role. Also, initially, it's going to play a major role. I mean, most of my work over the last decade has been in advocating for the Second Amendment, fighting here in California, fighting in Washington, D.C. So a lot of the relationships that I have, a lot of the people that know me, a lot of the people that I'm hoping will, at least in the very beginning, be donating to my campaign are going to be Second Amendment folks. Now, in the general, they're going to try and use that against me because there's this strong belief out there, well, every time there's a crime that involves a firearm, it's because of those Second Amendment folks out there, the folks who are supported by the NRA, they're the ones that are the problem. But see, understanding how the policy works, already understanding the numbers, being able to debate and talk with them about, well, wait a minute, we've seen over the last 7-8 years, or let me clarify, over the last decade, we've seen a consistent flow of anti-gun legislation pass here in California, yet we've seen crime go up. We've seen violent crime go up. We've seen violent crime involving firearms go up. So you can't blame gun legislation because we've already got everything in California that the rest of the nation wants. But what I can point to are our criminal justice, quote-unquote, reform. You know how Kamala Harris wanted California to get smart on crime, which basically meant decriminalize crime, let criminals back out on the street, and tell them that if you commit a crime, yeah, you're not going to wind up back in jail. And now those policies also have passed over this last decade and can be tied directly to the increase in crime, in violent crime, and violent crime involving firearms. So a lot of it's going to have to do with messaging and the ability to get that message out there.
I got to tell you, look at all the pieces that are falling into place, Craig. I mean, you're somebody who's well-spoken. You're comfortable in front of the camera. It's been a part of your career for a while. You're connected in the political realm. You live in the right area. This is pretty exciting, man.
Well, it is real exciting. And I'll be honest with you, the one area where I'm having to do a lot of work and the one area of challenge has to do with fundraising.
Money's always an issue.
Money.
Yeah.
It's hard to be considered by the quote-unquote powers that be a serious candidate if you don't have the ability to raise money. I'm not wealthy. I work an 80-hour work week in order to take care and pay the bills and all of that in part because I chose to work with people I want to work with on issues and with organizations that I believe in. And so, you know, I enjoy what I do, so I don't worry about the fact that I work that long. But it's not been something that has allowed me to. I'm not of billionaire status. So the main thing is, and this is what I keep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to say. The main thing and the biggest challenge is I think a lot of people think that, well, if I can't give $1,000 or $5,000, then what good can I really do? And what people don't understand is the Republican Party in particular used to be the party of small donors. It used to be the party where, you know, one person would give $50 and then they get 10 of their friends to do the same. And they'd get 10 of their friends to do the same. And when it comes to the Second Amendment and fighting in the Second Amendment community, I will tell you that's how the NRA is funded. That's how GOA is funded. That's how FPC is funded. It's by the individual small donor.
Yep, that's how San Diego County Gun Owners is funded too. Hey, so we're going to go to a break. We're going to come back. The first question I'm going to ask you, because I want to continue this conversation, because I have I have a point to make about it, is I'm going to ask you when we come back, how much money are you going to need to raise to be effective in this race? So don't answer it yet.
No, write it down because he'll forget.
I will definitely forget.
Yeah, write it down. Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserve and restoring Orange County self-defense rights. And if you live in Orange County and want to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, you need to join ocgunowners.com/join. Orange County Gun Owner is the organization to help get more pro-Second Amendment officials elected. Become a member today, ocgunowners.com/join.
So we're here with Craig Deluz. You may know him from all kinds of Second Amendment advocacy on YouTube, Coffee with Craig. He was with FPC. He's done a ton. Everybody who owns a gun knows who Craig Deluz is. He's now running for Congress, which is awesome. Craig, before we went to the break, we asked you how much money do you think you're going to need to raise to be effective?
Well, here's the way I'll break this down for you. I believe it's going to take about $1 million. And now here's the way that works. For each volunteer that gives of their time, that's worth $1,000. So it's a combination of grassroots people being willing to go out and knock on doors and make phone calls, and the actual money and resources it's going to take in order to do the marketing, the advertising, the digital stuff, the lawn signs, and all of that. So I say that to say this: our goal is to raise at least $750,000, and then to have 250 volunteers for the campaign.
So, and what I really want to make clear to people, I think most of our listeners are in California, and if you're in California and you're a gun owner and you care about the Second Amendment, you're probably in a district that's already decided. You're probably in a district where a Republican is definitely going to win, or you're in a district where a Democrat is definitely going to win. This is an opportunity for you to take a couple of bucks out of your pocket and put it somewhere where you could actually make a difference. So if you're in a district and there's a Republican who's definitely going to win, or there's a Democrat who's definitely going to win, donate, okay, whatever. But it's not really, is it really going to make a difference? Probably not. But Craig could actually win. This is somebody that's really running, not because, he's interested in 4 or 5 other things. And, oh, by the way, the Second Amendment. Here's a tried and true. He's one of us. He's a tried and true Second Amendment guy, and he's in a district that he could win, and could actually make a difference. So I guess what I'm saying is, get on the internet, go to his website, just donate something, $10, $50, $100, something, and help Craig out.
And let your friends know that you did it, and do the same. Here's the thing I like to say: politics is war by other means, and war is about taking ground. Now, the way you are effective in taking ground is you look at, okay, if I've already got the place where I'm at, I got to look to the north, south, east, and west. Where can I make a difference and help to take ground? And I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. Are you pro-Second Amendment? Do you believe in the Second Amendment? Well, think about this. Who was the last candidate that you've been able to support who wasn't just a okay, I filled out the questionnaire right, and I believe in the Second Amendment, but someone who has actually walked the halls of the state capitol, someone who's actually testified before city councils in California, someone who's actually been out to Washington, D.C., been to the White House, been in Congress talking with members, fighting for our fundamental civil right to keep and bear arms. And I can tell you, I feel pretty confident in saying you've never had that opportunity.
I'm not sure.
And now you do.
I'm not sure I can think of a guy. Great. Give them your website, and then I want to talk about some other things, and then we'll circle back and we'll give them your website again. But right now, those who are listening, I know you're on your computer. I know you have your phone in your hand. Go to this website right now and donate. Go ahead.
It's CraigDeluz.com. CraigDeluz.com.
So,
and if you just Google Craig Deluz, my website will be right there near the top.
Yeah, it'll pop up. CraigDeluz.com. $10, $50, $100, whatever. Whatever you can do. So what did you think of so let's move on. Let's talk about guns and stuff. What did you think about Gavin Newsom's press conference and wanting to amend the Constitution so he can gut the Second Amendment? What did you think of that?
Well, okay, there were a few things. Just from a pure political sense, it makes sense for him because keep in mind, Gavin Newsom is an individual who is used to making big, bold promises and statements and delivering nothing, right? You might remember when he was mayor, he talked about his 10-year plan to end homelessness in San Francisco. How is that working out so far? He's the one who made the big, bold plan that by 2035, by 2050 or 2040, we're going to be zero emissions in the state of California. He's not even going to be around by the time that happens, but he gets the media credit for saying it. So keep in mind, Gavin Newsom is a guy who he's for lack of a better term, he's a media whore, and he wants to get his name out there making promises that he can't keep. Now, having said that, there's absolutely no way he is going to be able to amend the Constitution to be able to do what it is that he says he wants to do. But he also demonstrates his lack of understanding of exactly what an amendment to the Constitution is, or even what a Constitution is. Constitutions are a set of fundamental values. And in particular with our amendments or our Bill of Rights, those are the protections of the individual against the government, telling the government, you can't do these things. And here he is taking rights away from individuals. And he's doing it in such a detailed way. Well, no, go fight and try and pass legislation that does that. If he's going to try and do that, but he has a fundamental misunderstanding of politics, of policy, and especially of the Second Amendment. I considered it to be a joke, but I think he got exactly what he wanted. He got national press out of it.
And he's a true believer too. I don't know if a lot of people understand that. There are a lot of folks who run for office and they get pressured into being anti-gun, and maybe they kind of believe it, and it's issue number 8 on their list or whatever. But they're not really all that. They're not true believers. And, Gavin Newsom is a true believer when it comes to being anti-gun. And he's been that way for a long time. He was a part of Prop 63, right?
He was a part of Prop 63, which once again was him trying to find a way to get out in front of the media so that he could promote his run for governor.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So up in Sacramento, how is the shooting situation up there? Do you guys have ranges and the outdoor, indoor? Where do you do your shooting up in Sacramento?
Well, so most of the ranges that are around the Sacramento area are mostly indoor ranges. So I live about 5 minutes away from one here in North Highlands called the Gun Range. There's a couple of ranges. There's Sacramento. There's the Sacramento Valley. Not Sacramento Valley. There's Sacramento Valley shooting center, which is about a 40-minute drive from where 45 minutes, and that's now got a full range of everything that you could want to shoot. But you have to be a member. It's hard to get a membership. You have to have a membership or know a member in order to get out there to be able to do some real shooting on some of whether it's the pistol action bays or some of the other more exclusive stuff that they have out there. There's probably about 5 or 6 ranges here in Sacramento. Most of them are indoor ranges. It's hard to find an outdoor range in Sacramento. But when you go a little bit to the outskirts, whether to the north or the east, you can find a couple of decent outdoor ranges, and then there's some BLM land up about an hour north of here as well.
Because you guys, mostly the culture up there is there's a big hunting culture in the Sacramento area. It's suburban and rural. There's and it's definitely the beginning of Northern California. Of course, you guys are the home of Gun Owners of California. Sam Paredes is right there. But you guys have a lot of hunting going on, don't you?
Well, exactly. And if you know the right people, there are plenty of people who have plenty of land, some of which they have their own little shooting ranges set up. So sometimes it's a matter of who you know.
Have you talked to Gun Owners of California? Or I guess it'd be Gun Owners of is it Gun Owners of California? Do they endorse in congressional races, or Gun Owners of America?
Gun Owners of America are the ones who endorse on the congressional races, and I have reached out. I have a very good relationship with Mr. Pratt over there, so I'm hoping that good relationship will work out to an endorsement. Because, like I said, and by the way, there are at least two other Republicans who are running in the race. I know both of them. I like both of them. Both of them are good conservatives. I just don't think they have the opportunity or the chance to be able to win in this particular district because, well, I just think I'm better, I guess. but
I like the confidence.
Well, I've sat on the school board for 18 years in an area that is 60% Democrat. I've worked across party lines with folks and being a known conservative, I basically walk into most political meetings in Sacramento with a big, huge R on my chest. Not because I put it there, so maybe it's actually on my back. I don't know, but because I've never shied away from my values. Having said that, I also learn how to identify what a person's desire is, what they're trying to need, what their political goal is, and try and find a way to find a compromise that works for both. When we can work together, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And because of that, I think that also gives me an opportunity to be able to be successful. I mean, on my board, I've been on the board 18 years. I've been board president 12 of those 18 years.
Wow.
And once again, that's in an overwhelmingly Democrat area, oftentimes with a Democrat-controlled board.
Wow. How brutal is it being on a school board? I mean, I don't think people realize school boards are brutal.
Even in a good district.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the things that we've done, and I've really focused on trying to keep politics as a whole out of it. So we sit down with all of the other board members. All the board members sit down whenever we get a new board member. We go through our mission statement, our values. Everyone gets a chance to have their input. It's a document that we all vote on, and then we all govern everything according to that. So if it's like extra political, if it's something partisan, if it's not part of our core mission or our core values, it doesn't get on the agenda. And we've been able to withstand. We went through 8 years of declining enrollment. Then we went through the economic downturn. We went through COVID. And, through all of that, we have never had to lay off a teacher because of budget. We just got through rebuilding 80% of all of our schools we got through just rebuilding. Every single one of our students is in a 21st century classroom.
Nice.
And then on top of that, we pay our teachers the second most in the entire county of Sacramento.
Give me your website, Craig. Give me your website so that everybody go to the website right now, donate money, support Craig. Go for it.
CraigDeluz.com.
And that's Craig with a C.
Yep. Craig with a C. What else would it be?
Could be with a K.
With a K. I guess you're right.
Hey, you never know.
Craig with a C. Thank you for clarifying, Dave.
Hey, that's why I'm here. Is he staying or is he going?
No, that's it. Thank you, man. Thanks,
All right,
Craig.
buddy. Hey, have you ever wanted to get a pilot's license? Well, here in San Diego, pilots can fly almost every day, which makes San Diego one of the best places to learn how to fly in the world. Learn to fly with San Diego Flight Training International. Check out the deals just for gun owner radio listeners. 1 hour ground school, 1 hour of flight with an instructor. Yep, you get to fly. Normally it's $400. You listeners will get it for $350. Just mention this radio show. Getting started is super easy. Call them at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly with STFTI. 858-569-1822.
All right, at the beginning of the show, we introduced you to Chris with a C, Skahill from 511.
That's me.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Thanks again for having me in.
So, talk about 511. First off, I thought everybody knew what 511, where the name came from.
Sure.
And when you guys opened in El Cajon, a bunch of people didn't know. I thought it was kind of.
Did you know?
I did, yeah. I've known for years. So tell everybody, where did 511 come from?
Yeah, perfect. So 511, being that the company was originally founded in the Yosemite Valley, 511 is a climb rating. So 5 being rock climbing, 11 being the most difficult route at the time. It's higher now. But essentially, paraphrasing, it's a impossible route that can only be achieved through great feats sometimes. So that's where 511 came from.
Wow. So you guys started out as a rock climbing?
It originally started, way back when in Yosemite Valley. It was the determination to make a pant that would survive on granite for
wow.
rock climb. So a lot of the pocket layouts and the rear right strap was all about securing your pro, because at the time, rock climbing harnesses or climbing harnesses didn't have attachment points.
How? So what year was that? Was that the 90s?
So that would have been in the early 90s. And then in 2003, 511 broke away and incorporated as its own entity, because originally it was the 511 Pant, and then in 2003 incorporated and became 511 Tactical.
Yeah. Remember how rock climbing? Remember how popular rock climbing was in the 80s?
Well, I know you and I used to go all the time.
Yeah. I was the rock.
You were the rock.
I remember, even REI. I remember REI has a rich rock climbing history.
Sure.
So you guys were sponsors of our symposium,
Right.
which was really, really awesome. That was the first gun show since they shut down the gun shows at Del Mar. We're extremely happy. We're looking forward to, I don't know, I think it would be great to have 4 or 5 a year. So we're definitely going to bring it back, work with the folks who brought it here, and make it even bigger and better. So for you guys to step up and help us out like that on the first one out, and you put so much faith in us.
Sure.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. It was really, really awesome.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity, because the biggest thing we think about is when we look at community. Part of community is being in it and being a part of it, and living by those ideals.
So that was why it was important for you to be a part of the symposium.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's nice that you supported a small group like ours, because if anybody watches any motorsports, NHRA or NASCAR, I think you're on every frickin' team.
We have. It's funny enough. There's a lot of pit crews that do wear 511 gear because it holds up.
Because
for
it
our
holds
use.
up.
Absolutely.
And I've never really had any. I've never seen 511 on the side of a race car, but because I wear so much of it, I'm noticing pit guys, like you said,
Absolutely.
wearing mainly the pants and the shirts, and all the drivers when they're getting interviewed, if they're not in their suits, they're usually wearing 511 shirts. And I think that has a lot to do with the style, the cut, the feel, and the way they're made.
Agreed. And that's a lot of being able to have that appropriate look. Dress for the job, but at the same point, have that long-term wear and durability.
Right. And you could wear it almost dress up, and it's not dress up.
Dress it up, dress it down. Your choice.
And,
Absolutely.
and as long as you're wearing, it's. I wear it when I go to a lot of press events, car press events, and everybody's wearing suits and sports coats. I don't. I wear my 511.
Thank you.
And I get more comments on that. And, and durable, you can wash the snot out of those things. Still.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our polos, when we really first came out with polos, our San Diego County gun owners, our polos were 511.
Yeah, what happened?
And they were blue. They were the navy blue. The reason they were navy blue, we actually originally wanted black. But NASCAR just put in a huge order, and they sucked up all the black ones. And they were like, it's actually going to take a little bit longer to get black. So I was like, all right, blue, boom. So it became blue.
Well, if you need black polos, we have some of the largest on-hand inventories in North America right now.
And they're so nice. Your polos are really, really great. They kind of set the standard.
Wash and wear, for sure.
Yeah. Law enforcement uses it. Talk about law enforcement. You guys have did law enforcement find you, or did you guys reach out to law enforcement?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. Originally, back when we're talking the 90s, law enforcement found us. And the intent was, it was at the National Academy back at Quantico, being able to have a pant that sustained the rigors of the range, but also something that could be dressed up and something that would look official and sharp in the classroom. And that was paper orders and handwritten, hand-signed checks being mailed, and and then developing that forward. Really, when we look at it, we have one of the largest national sales teams, not just in industry, but in general. We've got just over 45 sales team members, and that's just for North America.
Wow.
And we go out and service law enforcement agencies. We make Class A and Class B uniforms, as well as apparel and outerwear, bags, pistol belts, pouches, et cetera, plate carriers, and footwear.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would assume that the commercial stuff you guys do, the mass commercial stuff that you guys do for law enforcement, that sort of thing, and your online sales probably are much bigger than the actual in-store sales, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, when we think about stores in general, we've got 125 stores now across the U.S. We're still opening retail stores when most other brands, either don't have retail stores, or they're closing stores.
Yeah.
And we're still growing. And what we find is building and opening to those markets, such that we can service those communities.
So what's important about the brick and mortar stores? What are you guys looking to accomplish by opening up these stores? Because like I said, I think you guys could probably make a really good living without a single brick and mortar store, which means that there's something behind it that isn't just you know what I mean. It's not just like, well, gee, this is where the profit center is.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's something else behind it. So what is that thing?
Well, I mean, even when we look back 2 years ago in pandemic, we still had stores open, right, and being able to support and supply those communities and adhere to what those requirements were from a health department standpoint. But really, when we think about our retail stores and e-com, it's access to brand. And we have a huge opportunity, too, with our consumer wholesale. So you can go to the Bass Pros and the Scheels and the Cabela's of the world and find 511 product. But when you look at our retail stores, it's wall-to-wall 511.
Yeah.
So you're gonna. It's really it's almost that experience, and you're gonna see how much of that opportunity there is in all of our categories.
And the thing I like about your retail stores is you're still staying focused to the core of why you're here.
Absolutely.
There's not ARs on the wall. There's not targets on the wall. It's all mountain climbing and rock climbing and that type of material. And whoever's decorating your stores, I think is doing a very good job. It's well laid out. You've got, to me, I just enjoy shopping there because I'm one of these kind of guys that goes in, need a pair of pants. You got a whole freaking wall of pants.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of all the sizes.
Absolutely. And having that available on-hand inventory in stores and things that are going to fit that range of customer coming through the door, our mantra is always be ready. And the idea, too, is we want you to come in and gear up for whatever that mission might be, whether it be outdoor adventure, whether it be going to the range, whether it be lifestyle or conceal carry. That all ties in for us.
I think it's good for the first-time buyer, too, that's either, let's say, getting into gun ownership. Because when you walk into one of your stores, it's like, whoa, I didn't know they made this. Or, wow, sometimes you have to ask them, what is this for?
There's a lot of aha moments for sure.
Yeah, it really is. No, and I think you put a lot of effort into that, not just the clothes themselves.
Now, how did you make your way to 511, you personally?
Yeah, so I've been with the company now direct for the last 3.5 years, but my first touch with the brand was in 2005 as a firearms instructor. So that was the uniform. So I've got the polo, I've got the tack pants, the original canvas cotton pants. So those, they still exist, right? Had the fishing vest.
Yeah.
So
the tactical fishing vest.
The tactical fishing vest. And I mean, when you think all the way back, that was servicing a need of government customer in the early global war on terror.
Yeah.
So everyone knew that wasn't for fishing, but it served a purpose for being able to carry a loadout.
The only complaint I got.
This is like the fifth only complaint.
The vests that you have, they're just too warm.
They will last forever.
What are you, Han Solo? What are you doing in a vest?
You put a shirt on and you put the vest. It's like, I got to take the vest off. But I have to admit, I did go to Alaska.
Okay.
And it worked.
Good. Yeah, the vest is a lot about what you're carrying in the pockets.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
love your hideaway pockets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got a question. I don't know the answer to this. You know that strap? I think it's on the right hip of a 5. What is
Yep.
that?
Don't tell him.
Don't tell. Okay.
Let him figure it out.
No. So originally, you hear all these stories. Oh, that's for the radio, so it doesn't fall out of your pocket. Oh, that's for your ear pro. Originally, way back in the day, that's where your carabiners and climbing pro was connected to.
When you started talking about the connection to rock climbing, I started to wonder if that's what it was. I got to be honest. I don't know. I've been around gun guys for like 25 years now. And for 25 years, I've pretended I know what that's for. You know what I mean? And didn't ask the question.
Were you right?
No. I was
Hey, did you know they sell watches?
Yeah, well, you're wearing one.
I know they don't sell this one anymore.
No.
This is a classic.
It is a classic.
You know, like I've had this thing. It's amazing.
The answer. That was an Archer reference, wasn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Nice.
Inland Empire gun owners strive to be the ounce of prevention in the fight for your gun rights. How do they do it? They do it by fundraising and getting local pro-gun candidates elected. Become a member today. Go to iegunowners.com/join and join the growing number of responsible gun owners stepping up to defend our Second Amendment rights. That's iegunowners.com/join.
Subscribe to our email list and win some swag. This week's winner is Robert. Oh, should we wait? Let's do a little. Do we have a drum roll? This week's winner is Robert Chambers. Robert, if you're listening, hopefully you are, email prizes@gunownersradio.com to claim your T-shirt or hat. It's up to you. Free training for members, basic pistol course from San Diego Firearms School. That is a $140 value.
Wow.
And then Matthias Quallenberg, he presented on the CCW Lifestyle at the Symposium. He's the one that gives that basic pistol shooting course. And members, you can sign up at gunownersradio.com/training, the number 4 members. Go to gunownersradio.com/training, the number 4 members. And that is for a basic pistol shooting course from San Diego Firearms School. I think we're actually going to end up. So Matthias lived in Germany until he was 25, and then moved to America, followed a girlie who he married, and but lived in Germany. And he's just about turned 40, so he's been here. I can't do the math. 15 years, and I was talking to him about growing up in Germany and what it was like. And I think we're gonna do a Magnum episode. I think we're gonna have him come into the studio and just do an uninterrupted hour and a half to talk about what it's like growing up in Germany, because it was fascinating. The conversation was fascinating. Matthias is such a good dude. I still got. If you're listening, man, we got to go to Tip Top Meats in Carlsbad.
He could be
Eat some
talking
German
about
food.
spaghetti, and I just listened to him.
I don't
Got
really.
that voice, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good dude. Gun Owner Symposium grand prize drawing. Symposium attendees got to enter at the gun show. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prizes to give away. And this is good stuff, man. Oh my gosh, this is really good stuff. Hey, Rich, how do we want to do this? Do you want me to just go down the list, or yeah, just go down the list? All right, I'm just going to go down the list. So let's start with the 511 Range Ready Trainer Bag, which was super nice. I was drooling all over it. I really, really wanted to take it, and I asked Rich. I was like, "Hey, man, is this extra?" And he goes, "No, it is not extra." So 511 Range Ready Trainer Bag goes to Miles Criscuolo. Congratulations, Miles, for your 511 Range Ready Trainer Bag. $150 Alexo Athletica gift certificate. Alexo Athletica is, I don't know if it's exclusively, but it's primarily for women, right? Isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's primarily for women.
So this
and
is
it's like
Christy.
No, that's not. So Christopher Verdeveld. Oh, I just butchered that. I don't know how to. Vredeveld. That's a lot of consonants.
Christopher V.
That Christopher V. Congratulations. You just won something nice for your wife, girlfriend, mother, sister. 2 tickets to Gun Prom. Gun Prom coming up September 16th. That's here it's in Mission Valley in San Diego. It is going to be a fantastic, probably have 1,000 people there again. Love to. We need to talk about a 511 presence at Gun Prom this year. Maybe we'll talk about that, Chris.
Please.
And the 2 tickets to Gun Prom goes to Scott Gould. Congratulations, Scott, and thank you, San Diego County Gun Owners, for such a generous gift. And then this is huge, man. Franklin Armory CA7 AR pistol. Chris, have you seen that thing before?
I have.
It's pretty nice, right?
It's wild.
Yeah, and it's the only AR pistol on the roster in California. So it's the only one you can buy. This is big, and this person I know is going to be elated. Franklin Armory CA7 AR pistol goes to Dakota Adelphia. Congratulations, Dakota. I don't know. This might be her first gun, Alicia, isn't
Maybe.
it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Far from it. And then finally, Gunsite 150. That's a 3-day pistol class. If you've never been to Gunsite, their 150 3-day pistol class is fantastic. Chris, you ever been to Gunsite?
I have. Multi-time alum.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Did you take the 150?
I've been out there for 250 carbine. I was out there for 150 pistol.
Yeah.
And a few other classes too. So it's an awesome spot.
Yeah. Second to none. Those guys are great.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Or I don't know if they're second to none. They're at least tied for first with a couple of, but they're great, right?
Well, that's where it all started, right back with Colonel Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I just don't want to. I don't want a bunch of people. What about us, man? We're not bad. Okay. Okay. Gunsite Hunt 150 3-day pistol class. Mark Hughesland. That's awesome.
You know,
I was running out of applause.
we ought to make it. If your name isn't easy to say, you can't win.
You can't win. That's right.
What do you think?
There needs to be like a constant limitation.
Yeah, a lot of Smiths.
Yeah, we should just start throwing them away. Like I can't pronounce that.
I can't.
Bob Smith. All right, you win. All 5 winners. Bob Smith. Oh, Bob Smith.
You did a great job, Bob.
Fantastic, Bob. Yeah. So thank you guys for donating. That's very, very cool.
Most definitely.
Did anybody? Did you make it down to the symposium? Did you go to the gun show or no?
I did not make it down, but I know that some of the team was looking to get down there and see it. And like you were saying before, with the first annual, I mean, one of the big pieces when people think about California, sometimes we're not thinking gun shows. So now it's building that community event and having that opportunity.
Well, up in Costa Mesa, up in Orange County, I don't think you guys have a gun show anymore either, do you?
Yeah, it used to be Crossroads of the West, forever and ever, at Orange County Fairgrounds, and they'd also go down to Del Mar and they'd be out to Riverside area, but no gun shows.
They were talking about looking at the blimp hangers, the old blimp hangers.
Oh, right, out in Tustin, sure.
Out in Tustin as a possibility, but I don't think anything came of that, which is too bad. It's so ridiculous.
This new group, since they did as well as they did this time, they may expand.
That'd be great. We got to do it on private property. It's a little difficult to find private property that can accommodate a gun show. They need a lot of space. But as long as they're trying, we're going to try with them, and we're going to succeed. So,
got nothing to lose.
Yeah. What did you think of the gun show, Alicia?
I thought it was great.
You did a good job too. Speaking.
Oh, thank you.
Not one tomato was thrown at you, which is an indicator that you're doing something right.
Isn't there still like a shortage?
Tomato shortage. The only reason they didn't throw tomatoes at you while you were speaking is because there's.
Mine aren't quite in season yet.
Have you seen how expensive a tomato is?
I know.
No one's going to throw a tomato at it.
No. Is there something going on with tomatoes?
Well, of course.
Are we mad about tomatoes this week?
Yes, we are.
Every week we got to get mad about something new and different. I just put up a Facebook post.
You can't bring the underwear and the hammer back.
Yeah, I just put up a Facebook post. I really missed. You remember, 4, 5, 6 months ago, we were all mad at a guy wearing underwear carrying a hammer in Pelosi's house.
Yeah.
All the memes going around, the underwear fighting.
How many years did that guy get?
I don't know, but gosh, we got to bring that. Can't we be mad at that for one more week? That was so fun.
I thought so.
Everything else that we're mad at, it's not as fun as underwear hammer fighting.
I mean, come on, we're always mad at something.
Every week. Yeah, Monday morning, first thing you got to do is figure out what we're all mad at.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm mad at that. That's what I'm mad at this week,
I
Dave.
think you should write that down.
So anyway.
You're probably more mad that you don't have your Jeep.
Well, they
Not
keep giving
really.
me, they
Not really.
keep giving me nice loaners. So our next guest coming up after the break is Tasha Williamson. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this conversation that we're going to have. Tasha's done a fantastic job of supporting San Diego County gun owners working with us and getting people involved that maybe San Diego County gun owners wouldn't have found without her, and we're very, very happy about that. She's an interesting lady, has an interesting life, and we're going to hear more about it when we get back.
Hey, is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attacker that's 100 pounds bigger?
Nope.
You noticed I waited this time? That's why it's so important for women to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented. For women, led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. So sign up today. Go to notmesd.org.
So while we're waiting for our next guest to call in.
Well, while you're waiting,
Yeah.
so Chris, how do you guys go about deciding what you're going to put in your stores?
I would take it a step further back, even as what are the products we're going to design and develop, and a lot of that is going to be end user driven. So we'll look at and pull different groups of people and poll and do focus groups to determine what that next phase is.
Okay,
and when we
gotcha.
think about the stores, how we want to outfit the stores, it's really going to be building out with that, what those volumes and what those products are that are in stock, but ultimately too having that shopping experience so that you can find that range build out. You can find that everyday apparel. You can find that footwear. And then we also do seasonal swap out too. So
Well,
you're
and
gonna
we
have
like we
constant
talked,
rotating stock.
it's like we
products.
talked off air about apparel for women.
Yes, sir.
And it's a little slow coming, but it's coming.
I love the fit of the women's pants.
Great.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, their selections are much smaller for women than they are for men. That
Of
was
course.
why I was questioning.
That's to be expected, though. But it's for a long time. I wore men's tactical pants. That's what was there, right? And so, just the fit on a woman is just a little awkward. It doesn't fit well. So they have a variety of the women's pants, and I love them all.
And they
So,
fit good.
For me, they do. I mean, there's different body types. I imagine there might be women where they not as well, but yeah, for me, they're great.
And I would say too that from a women's fit and a women's sizing, we've got a lot online too. So if you're not seeing something in store, definitely check out the website. But we're always developing product from that side. And then two, I know some of the hesitancy and for everyone is buying clothes online.
So to Mike's point, what he was asking before about being an online, being able to make your living online, being able to try them on is huge.
And then,
I think it's
absolutely. And we've got a great returns policy or being able to swap out too. So don't be scared.
So you can wear them for a year, and then when you're tired of them, you can bring them back. Yeah.
As long as the tags are on. Kidding. Yeah.
Hey, I've done that. I said, some people say, "Oh, I see you got a new pair of pants." Hey, what are you talking about? Oh, shoot, I forgot all about that on there. But I like the elasticity of your clothes. I don't know if you put that in there intentionally.
We do. So depending too, we've got a couple different ways we build it, and a lot of the materials now are going to actually be mechanical stretch. So when you think of any kind of give or stretch or elasticity, if you use a fiber that's a mesh fiber, it'll break down over time. So we have what we refer to as two-way mechanical stretch, and then you'll see four-way mechanical stretch as well. But with a two-way mechanical stretch, it's actually the weave of the fiber, so that way it always returns back to that original state.
Well, every KUSI segment I do, I wear 511, and the reason I do it is because I have to carry recording equipment in two different pockets. And like the pants I had on today that has the double stack back pocket, I can leave my wallet in the lower one, and I can put the listening, the microphone device in that one, and I can take the other one and put. It's perfect. It's almost like you guys designed it for TV people.
Well, the great part is, as long as it has an appearance or feel as like a smartphone or an M4 magazine,
That's why
you're set.
Yeah.
Absolute.
Yeah. Do you have any 511 pants?
I don't think I have any 511 pants. I was waiting for the women's
fall in
cut
love with them.
with my nice round hips. So I'll probably
You stop.
No, I don't have. I don't have any yet. But I'm a pretty simple guy, man. Blue jeans and a.
Well, how many more watches do you need? Don't you think you ought to?
I was going to say I can't afford 511.
You got to start
pants
wearing pants.
on a watch. On cutting in my watch budget.
Yeah, but you got to start wearing pants.
Well,
You know-
we'll have to fix that because we've got, if you're a blue jeans guy, like my typical, what my wife would refer to as my uniform.
Yeah.
snap front shirt, and blue jeans. And it's going to be
511 blue jeans. Oh, that's right. They do make
They do
that.
have the blue
our,
jean line.
our Defender blue jeans.
No, why would
Yes, sir.
why would somebody get 511 blue
Got
jeans?
some cool hidden pockets. I know that.
Hidden pockets
Yeah.
is one. The
Durability.
durability for sure. Two-way mechanical stretch, like I was mentioning before.
Yeah.
So you can actually have jeans that don't pinch and pull when you're wearing them.
I got a question.
Hit me.
So when you fasten them in the front, some of them were button, and some of them were button and snap.
Right.
Is there a reason for that?
Just a difference in style.
Okay.
Usually for jeans, it's going to be a button front. Some of the other types will be a snap front. But we've got, all in, when I think of it, I think the last count that I heard was between men's and women's styling, all colors, all sizes. We have I think it's just over 26,000 style numbers. So coming from 6 pieces back from the early 90s to today, there's quite a bit and more to come.
Are you still carrying the tennis shoe?
We do. So we've got a couple different types.
Because that's my favorite.
Yeah, we've got our Norris, which actually looks like a skate shoe. It's going to be no puncture, so nail or needle.
Oh, really?
Yep, and some cutaway tags. So we've got some low vis detectives that like to wear those. So it has a little bit of style, but it's not going to become problematic around different terrains.
Right.
But then also our AT all-terrain line for the sneaker, and then quite a few others. So we've got quite a bit, and then also women's sizing. So,
And now, other than the stuff you guys sell, you guys are looking to do forums and do informational seminars and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
talk a little bit
absolutely.
about that. Look, first off, before you even talk about what types, talk about why. Why is that important to 511?
yeah, when we think about 511 and we think about our mantra of always be ready, we think of ready is mindset, and ready is going to be lifestyle. So when we think of how to approach that, you can't just have a pile of kit or a pile of gear and be successful. You have to have knowledge. You have to be educated. You have to learn. You have to experience. So that's where we dubbed a piece what's called Always Be Ready, or our ABR academies in our stores, and being able to have those communities to come in and hear an instructor or hear a speaker, be able to give an information session in our stores. And we partnered with USCCA, and they're on track to do over 400 seminars this year alone across our 125 almost plus retail fleet, and then being able to have those locations where people can go for information. We don't know it all, but our blog site is just being refreshed, and especially our contacts throughout the shoot industry, really being able to lean in there as a resource.
What about patches? I noticed you have, is this a collection thing? How many patches do you have? I picked up a couple, but it's like, I collect too much stuff as it is.
Morale patches are definitely a big thing.
Wow.
Some of them are a little tongue-in-cheek, as you notice when you read these and you see them. And at our store grand openings, we do a store patch. But yeah, it's really just a way to connect and almost put a little flash.
Do you think it would
on your
take
gear.
off? Did you think it would take off as well as it has?
I almost wonder in the very beginning if it was like, oh, we'll see how it goes. Let's
Yeah.
make a few of them. And now there's actually a team at headquarters in our design team. They develop all the art and figure out seasons in advance what those patches will be. And then we do a refresh in store and online and holiday session and through the season. And then also our blind patch giveaways. So we do a lot of where people are, we've got some really strong patch collectors. They want to buy in and find what those mystery patches are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
the seminars, that's community building, and
Absolutely.
I don't. I can't imagine. Kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about, I can't imagine that's a big profit center. So, and the reason I bring that up is, that means you guys care. You know what I mean? That means you guys are trying to accomplish something. Right. That is more than just the bottom line or a profit center.
Sure. When we think of it as a profit center, it is not a profit center.
Yeah.
And really it is it's an impact on the bottom line. But what we find is we've got a means by which we can bring that information forward and bring our partners to a location and bring people in, and really being that resource. Because a lot of it, we've got pants. Like, what perfect question earlier? Why would you want to wear our jeans? It's like, well, we've got hidden pockets. We've got two-way mechanical stretch. But you wouldn't know it unless you experienced it. And it's not just a means, a lost lead to get someone in the door. but it's really that way of educating and having that always be ready.
Because you don't get that education online.
It'd be hard pressed.
It'd be hard. You know, you could have that little button where you could talk to somebody.
Sure.
But I hate that guy. I like to physically go in, and first question I have is, what's new?
Sure.
Because I go in enough times, you know, and you know the help there is amazing. Oh, well, here, let me show you. What are you kind of looking for? And I tell them what I'm looking for, and then they direct me accordingly. So yeah, I maybe I'm just old school. I just like to go in, just like Alicia said. You know, I mean, she wants to go in, try them on, see if they fit, and yeah. I got to quit buying those.
And I think that's the bit too is with our staff is go in and ask questions. I mean, I think so many times people are used to, oh, what can I help you with? Oh, nothing. Oh,
what are you lost?
What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Is there anything I can help you with? And people just want us and not be encumbering anyone. The staff is there to help. So if you're saying, hey, what's this bag? Oh, it's Molly. What's Molly? It's a pouch. How do I
do
it?
with it?
Yeah.
Let's put it all together here.
So these seminars, this outreach that you're doing with these seminars that are and everything, if it's not about the bottom line, it's not about money, it's about cause, it's about something you guys are trying to accomplish. Who's behind that? Like how was that decision made, and who is that important to?
Yeah, and what we've seen is that within the corporation itself, within the company, being able to have that leadership bit. You know, it's what do we have? We've got a means by which we can communicate. You know, we look at our products of always be ready and thinking about the serving those who serve and really being able to drive forward. So our executive leadership is really strong in supporting the efforts and really leading in and maintaining our ideals.
That's awesome. So, I think that's important, and I think it's important for people to know that, one, they can get some amazing information by coming to these seminars. But two, the fact that you guys are doing it, and why you're doing it, that it means something.
Certainly.
That you're trying to build community. You're trying to be give back and do something that means more than just, making a couple of bucks. And I think that's really cool. I think it's awesome. So I'm glad we got that out. If people want to know more about the seminars, where do they go? Yeah,
best bet, go on to 511tackle.com. You'll be able to see our store finder on there as well as our blog site. And then if you're in a local area with a store, find it, go talk to the team, chat with them.
You know, a lot of companies waste an enormous amount of money on marketing. The design is excellent, the photos are beautiful, and your website looks great. But it's not getting customers. Why? Because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can. Fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and how to buy from you. Stop wasting money today and schedule a call. Getting started is super easy. Visit sagetree.com and click on the schedule an appointment button. That's sagetree.com and click on that schedule button. You know, Chris, one thing I like about...
We're about to interview Tasha Williamson.
Oh, Sean?
Yep.
Oh, well, then I guess we'll hold that
till
the last
hold
segment.
that, yep. So thanks for calling in, Tasha. Tasha Williamson is our next guest. How are you, Tasha?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. First, let's talk about the program that you and I have been running for the last year or so between San Diego County Gun Owners and yourself and the folks that you represent and know.
I would love to. I just want to thank San Diego County Gun Owners for being there to support 2A among BIPOC community, and that it's been like enormous in helping to educate the community and also bring together, kind of like be a bridge to two different sides of folks that have really come together in a dynamic way to help and teach and grow, not only together, but people and their Second Amendment rights, because we all deserve to have them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's really been wonderful. Of course, San Diego County Gun Owners is for everybody, and the Second Amendment's for everybody. So we're super happy. We do outreach. I want to reach out to every group. But I've found the most important thing, no matter who it is, whether it's people that collect cars or off-roaders or different heritage or different political circles, whatever it is, whatever group we're doing outreach to, the most important thing I've found for successful outreach is to have somebody from that group who's passionate about, you know, the Second Amendment and what we're doing. And that was you for the group that we've been with, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's been really, really wonderful. What was important to you about introducing San Diego County gun owners, the Second Amendment, and you know, firearms training and education? Why was that important to introduce that to your circle of influence?
Well, because there have been an increase in people purchasing firearms, of course, that are Black or African American, and there were people, you know, in the community. The consensus is that most Blacks were taught that, you know, firearms were bad, and that they weren't really taught about, you know, the right to self-defense. And so, you know, the important thing to me was to make sure that, you know, Black people and other people of color knew that we do have a right to defend ourselves, and we do have a right to be safe, you know, in our homes, in our vehicles, in our cars, or, you know, walking down the street in any community, and at any event. And so you really, and your organization and the folks that you brought in really helped us to understand more about our rights, and then also how to properly be firearm owners, and how to defend ourselves in different scenarios and situations, and stand up for ourselves as well. And not only that, we were taught that the firearm is not the first choice. And so we've learned many other tools that we have now besides the firearm.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you like when we had the listening sessions in El Cajon, when the county was looking to, you know, ban firearms or looking for more ways to ban firearms. You know, you showed up and made a really important statement, and I think it's great. I really like seeing people from all different walks of life, all different groups, you know, step up and say, hey, the Second Amendment's important to us too. How do you think it's going? Are we successful? Do you think that the outreach we're doing and the folks that show up and are learning more, has it been good? Has it been successful?
I believe that, you know, we have had a lot of success stories, and a lot of people have come out and begin to understand what their right is, how to use their firearms properly, how to store their firearms properly. And I've had nothing but, you know, good reviews and conversations with folks who have been a part of it. We have entire families and generations within that family that are present. We have, you know, individuals from different areas of the city and the county, from the BIPOC community that are there. So I think that, you know, it's been, you know, a huge outpour of, you know, people just wanting to learn, right? And in that, not only do they learn, but we're actually able to build an improved network, you know, to other people that we normally wouldn't talk to. We were exceptionally received at a Discount Gun Marks event. And, you know, I just have to say that, you know, people stepping out in that uncomfortability. It wasn't about Republican or Democrat or Independent Party. It was just really about, you know, we're glad that you're here to get to know us, and that you're joining the 2A movement, because we want to be safe, and we want to be safe gun owners.
Now, what was if there was there something that what I don't know, I don't want to say changed your mind, but what maybe, I don't know if you were I don't know how you felt about firearms before you and I started doing this. Maybe you were against, maybe you were totally neutral. Doesn't matter. I'm just curious, was there something that happened or a thought process that made you come around and say, hey, this is what we got to do? Is there something that happened? I know you were saying, well, a lot of people started buying firearms and that sort of thing, but was there some kind of aha moment with you where you thought, you know what, I need to be proficient, I need to be a firearms owner, I need to, you know, protect myself, that sort of thing? Yeah,
well, one, I never, I'm not against firearms, or was never against firearms, but in my activism, I was threatened, and the threats became very real because these people showed up, and were targeting me and my family. And so I talked to you and was able to, figure out how to go about, purchasing a firearm and making sure that me and my family were safe, securing my home, as well with, cameras and video surveillance and an alarm so that, we could be safe. It's one thing to, have people that don't support you. It's another thing when those people take the time to threaten your life, killing you, lynching you, attacking your family, and just outright adamant about the people you love and yourself being dead. And so
and you
I defend my right to do.
Yeah, and you shared some of that with me and showed me some very legitimate, concerning threats against you, which is unacceptable. I just don't care where people disagree when it comes to politics or policy or procedure or whatever. Threatening violence, threatening somebody's right, it's not right. It's wrong, and it was very motivating for me to say, okay, let's do this. Let's handle this, and let's make sure that you have all the rights afforded to you that everybody else. You have all the training that you need to be able to defend yourself. Now, how would you describe the non-Second Amendment activism that you do? How would you describe the activism that you do?
So, we definitely believe, I'm not anti-police. I definitely know that I'm not running into a gun battle or a home that's on fire and, things like that, threatening emergencies. And we need police, and police don't just do those things. They do other things. But I am totally against officers who are rogue and reckless and lawless themselves, and I fight and combat the injustices that those type of officers bring. I do not look at those as officers. An officer has a duty to protect the laws and the people, and if you are violating the laws and harming people, you are not an officer, you are a criminal, and you should not be in a uniform or have the power that you hold, because officers have absolute power to take someone's life, liberty, freedom, and their children away from them. And they should do that legally. They should not be breaking laws and beating people to death, as we have seen, or shooting people to death who are unarmed.
So what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about you?
People believe that I'm anti-police and I just go after every officer that I see or come in contact with. They believe that I organized a La Mesa protest that burned down banks, of which I did not. People have had made statements that I threatened law enforcement officers. The chief has gone around telling people I threatened him and his family. And I think people need to know that I believe in peace, but I also believe in justice. And I do not threaten anyone's life. I do not threaten anyone's property. I'm nonviolent. I have had the most peaceful protest that I myself have organized. And the police department has mentioned that in media and to events and organizations. So I just think that, people having this rhetoric of, I'm anti-police and I'm violent and, I'm the leader of BLM, of which I've never been even a member, or I've never even been invited to a meeting with Black Lives Matter. But I do believe that Black Lives Matter.
So what was the catalyst? What got you into this line of activism?
This one officer, actually I just saw him the other day. This one officer, Officer Di Martin, he was extremely disrespectful at a stop. I just happened to be going to a store at the time, saw him pulled over with his partner, Officer Rosas. And they were actually the original officers that began me protesting officers because he was super disrespectful. He was actually he's a sergeant now, and I asked for a sergeant at another stop recently, and he came up very respectful, and the same person that protested alongside me for 8 months against him was there, and we had a conversation. He said, that was the most difficult time in his career. He said, but he learned, about people and about what the importance of why he needs to have customer service and treat people respectfully as an officer because of the power that he has. And now he's a sergeant, and people have witnessed him having the utmost respect and service to the public. And I said if other officers would learn from that, they would never meet me and see me. And so that's just one story of many. We had an officer recently, Officer Hotstotter, who said that he doesn't have to have customer service skills on one of my lives because policing is not a service industry. And if that's the truth and how they feel, everybody should be worried, not just Black people, but all people, because police officers do provide a service. They are a service industry. And so I think it's just, hard. We have another incident within the sheriff's jails where a man was beaten and tased in his head. I got the call. We reached out. There's now an investigation. They're saying that something was stuck up his butt as well during that beating. And so we're concerned about officers who act in this way.
So people who disagree with people who are listening out there that are like, Tasha, I don't like her or whatever. What would you say to them? What would you say? How would you, what do you recommend that they do to see things your way, or what would you want them to know about you?
Yeah, I would ask them to do public records requests, look at the media more to see the information that's going out. Look at the data that the officers themselves, the police departments have. They have data that says they disproportionately stop Black people in stops, use of force, tickets. I mean, this is their data that they collect. We're creating laws for police officers who are rogue, reckless criminal, like AB 26 and SB 2 and SB 16, where we now get to see the records of sustained findings, where officers have used the N-word, where officers have said, canines like dark meat. And these officers are still able to become, one officer is able to go to another force and become an officer because he wasn't decertified. Another officer is still a sergeant.
Well, Tasha, we got a hard stop here. We got to go, but I just want to say thank you for all that you do to introduce people to San Diego County gun owners. I look forward to working with you and your circle of influence for years to come, and continuing to educate folks in your community, and being a resource and introducing the Second Amendment to groups of people that maybe we normally wouldn't have been able to reach out to without you. So thank you for what you've done for the Second Amendment, Tasha.
96.1 AM 11.7.
The answer.
Oh, almost.
All right,
Choke?
Dave?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, but are you all right?
I'm okay.
You got your eyeballs on? You good?
Yeah, there we go.
Gun and prom tickets are on sale. You need to join San Diego County gun owners and the rest of the Second Amendment community at the Town and Country in Mission Valley. Get your fancy suit, dress, or cowboy hat and Levi's, doesn't make any difference, and join our group for a night of self-defense. The Second Amendment dinner is coming up on September 16th. Get your tickets now and reserve your spot for a great night with people, great food, drinks, all for a good cause. Go to gunprom.com. Get your tickets now, buy a table, and bring your friends and family. That's gunprom.com. And buy your tickets today. Do we have tables left?
We have a lot of tables left. We have individual tickets, so go to gunprom.com and buy tables.
But if you buy a table, do you still get a stack of raffle tickets?
Depending on the table, yeah. The champagne table, you get a stack of raffle tickets.
Right. What about the beer table?
We don't have a beer table. We don't have a beer table, Dave.
Come on.
Champagne and wine. We're all class political Second Amendment here.
All right.
All right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Stump My Nephew. Sam, the gunman, is my nephew. We found out years ago that he's extremely good at gun trivia. So if you send in a gun trivia question, we use it on the air. We'll give you a hat or a shirt. And if you stump my nephew, which rarely happens, you'll get a special gift, which actually is probably going to be gun prom tickets.
Probably.
Unless we have something else. So, without further ado. And today, Sam, you there?
Yep. How are you guys?
Excellent.
Great.
Today you're going to have Chris from 511 Tactical. 511 or 511 Tactical?
Known by both names, 5'11". Yeah.
5'11". So Chris from 5'11 is.
Do you know
is
about
gonna-
5'11", Sam?
Yeah, I wear their pants just about every day.
I was gonna say he's a 5'11 guy.
And
So-
Sam,
Thank you.
Sam, that's thank you, and that's also not the question, by the way.
He was hoping.
All right, go for it, Chris, with a C.
Yeah, so this is question from Rich from Chula Vista. In honor of this being episode 357, why was the 357 Magnum cartridge created?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why was the 357 Magnum cartridge created?
Why was the 357 Magnum cartridge created? Thank you, Chris from Chula Vista, for writing in, and thanks very much for reading the question. The 357 Magnum cartridge, which is a personal favorite of mine, it's a lot of fun to shoot, was developed in the early part of the last century out of a desire by hand loaders to basically hot rod the 38. The history here is really interesting, and I can't go into all of it because I'm limited on time. But these guys, I believe Elmer Keith among them, were hand loading 38 Special, which was originally a black powder cartridge. They were hand loading it with more powerful smokeless powder until they started blowing up guns. So then what they did was, well, they wanted the power, but they wanted to not destroy their revolvers. So they bought revolvers originally designed for 44 Special and made new barrels and cylinders that were capable of withstanding the pressure. Bigger cylinder for a smaller round, thicker walls, much stronger. And so they called that 3844. Smith & Wesson caught wind of it and decided to turn it into a real production cartridge and called it, or something very much like it, 357 Magnum.
So that's probably not a wrong answer, but listen to the answer. Chris, can you read the answer that was provided?
Yeah, so the answer provided, Elmer Keith developed the 357 Magnum handgun round to penetrate automobile cover during the post-World War I gangster era. It was a very difficult challenge for police and the FBI at the time, which only the 38 Super would achieve. The 357 was the first Magnum round ever produced. It was first used by the Kansas City Police to fight organized crime syndicates in Kansas City.
What do you got? What do you think? Have you ever heard that story? And in your opinion, does that answer, that doesn't mean your answer was wrong. I think it's just kind of a different, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
It's good context. The 38 Super in auto-loading pistols like the 1911 platform was capable of penetrating car doors at the time, and 357 Magnum, being even more powerful, can also do that. That being said, it's very likely that that was Elmer Keith's intent, but in the early days it wasn't really all that popular with law enforcement like in the 30s and 40s because the guns still tended to be fairly expensive. Once prices came down in about the 50s, 60s, 70s, then it really began to catch on in the law enforcement world.
So, and what was the original? Read the question one more time, Chris.
Yeah, the original question was, why was the 357 Magnum cartridge created?
Okay,
so I would say, yeah, broadly to develop more power out of something in the form factor of a 38 Special. In fact, the only reason the case is longer is so you can't put a 357 in a 38.
So here's what we're going to do.
Well, I think
what
I'm going to give Sam credit for this one because I think what Sam's answer was the original reason they did it. And once they did it and they realized the value of it, I think then the police department probably reached out once the price of revolvers came down.
Here's what we're going to do. That's not going to be considered a wrong answer.
No.
But we are going to give what's his name, Chris from Chula Vista. We're going to give
Rich
you
from Chula Vista.
Rich from Chula Vista. We're going to give Rich 2 free tickets to Gun Prom.
All right, that's good.
How about that?
But I personally think Sam went farther back in the history of this.
Yeah,
And I think the police took that as a
want to be fair.
Hey, look what these guys have got.
Want to be fair. All right. What's your latest blog on, man?
Well, and one more thing. That is, it's more common than you might think. Military and law enforcement looking at what civilian enthusiasts are doing to inform their own purchases. My blog post this past week, as I alluded to last week on the radio, is talking about the injunctions against this pistol brace ban, and I called my blog post "Obituary for the NRA." Yeah. And yes, I'm kind of doing a bit here, but you'll have to read the blog post to really get all the information. But my point is basically the NRA has failed to secure injunctions against the ATF final rule banning most braced pistols, where other pro-Second Amendment organizations have succeeded. Therefore, the NRA has demonstrated that it is functionally obsolete in the pro-2A world and either needs to clean up its act or get the heck out of the way.
Very awesome. Good. And where do we go to read that?
That is on the San Diego County gunowners.com/blog page, and it is also, I believe, on the blogs of the sister organizations' websites.
Awesome job. Thanks so much, Sam. Awesome job as always. Appreciate you spreading your knowledge.
Hey, thanks very much for having me on, and thank you very much, everyone who tunes in week after week to listen.
Awesome.
All right, buddy.
So Chris, what 511 seems to be doing a really good job of expanding or trying to expand and inform on the Second Amendment here in California. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say not just California, but across the nation.
Yeah.
And really, too, when we think of, not only what we've done with USCCA in recent past and really going back to the core of that always be ready lifestyle and mantra, one of the other things we're expanding out, and where in the past 511's been a big sponsor of shooting matches and mystery ranch, or excuse me, not mystery, superstition mountain matches in years past, but being able to expand that even further. And one of the things we were successful in doing was a series here in California. That was the 511 Fall Classic with Shoot and Bart Del Rio out of Paula's station, and we're at Prado.
Nice.
Thanks for watching this episode from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns and the Second Amendment. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just do a search for Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Click on the links in the show notes and support the businesses that support your Second Amendment rights. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.